Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another scene for the Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York, wherein 10 Point is taking herself a little joggy jog. And depending upon the route necessary, this may require a little umbral stint. Whatever it happens to take to get there, 10 Point will soon enough be Tellurian side, jolting into the training grounds, making it at a good, full, steady run, her usual barefoot self, and jingling all the way, so she's easy enough to hear coming. So what awaits our valiant adventurer?
Well, what awaits 10 Point is a certain Get of Fenris, Arun, who is currently taking to task two training dummies suspended by ropes. And as 10 Point comes up, what you hear is Dallas shouting in a very manic tone, "I can only express myself through violence!"
God damn it. Oh, no. Yeah, she comes running up, though she will pause at the appropriate distance, probably a little further than the usual appropriate distance. The violence distance is a little, you gotta get out of the splash zone, So she'll pause at that line, that imaginary line, and practically skid down onto her knees, chin tipped up attentively as she looks to attend her newest packmate. Probably breathing a bit heavily from the run.
Dallas will, as she grabs each of the dummies by their legs and rips them off of the hooks they're on, she sort of starts spinning around, picking up momentum until she literally has herself into a small pinwheel of motion. And then she just lets them both fly off in opposite directions and then sort of turns and puts those very, very wide, wild eyes focused directly onto 10 Point. Oh! Hi!
And yeah, that's her favorite thing. Totally her favorite. And yeah, 10 Point kind of, she doesn't quite jerk back, but it's obvious that she restrains the urge to do so. Still somehow finding the necessary willpower to keep her chin tipped up, because she and Dallas don't quite have a properly established pattern, not post joining the pack, wherein regardless of rank in the nation, she still has rank in the pack. And so yeah, she clamps down on kind of the jolt and simply asks, "What may I do for you, Ryah?"
Tell me, 10 Point, what is your opinion of poetry?
There's a delicate licking of the lips as she ponders what the right answer is, even though she's fairly sure there isn't a right answer. It's a fine thing to review in books, Ryah.
I'm really not a fan of it. She'll start pacing back and forth.
And 10 Point will slowly kind of testingly begin to lower her chin, keeping that ever-present side eye on her Ryah to see if there's an immediate response. And if there's not, she'll slowly start rousing from the ground, because that doesn't seem like the advantageous place to be while their brand new Pakarun is pacing furiously and, practically shaking with rage.
What do you think about red capes? Hmm?
I confess, Raya, that until of late, I had thought them something of an ironic take on fashions of the past.
So you're not a fan either.
No, Raya.
Good. Good. Good to know.
What was that last bit?
Good to know. So you established. You don't like poetry. Not a fan of red capes. I knew that was the reason I liked you.
I like to think we have a good number of opinions in common, Raya.
Oh? Yeah, I guess we do. I guess we do. And she'll stop in her pacing and just kind of look, tilt her head over at 10 point, remembering why 10 point is there.
Shall I hazard a guess, Raya, that you are likewise not much a fan of gratuitously ceremonial tea services?
I think they're bullshit too. Next couple days, if I see a teapot, I'm smashing it. Because that's how I express myself.
I shall make a note to stir the kettle, Raya.
And Dallas will walk over to her bag and pick up a water bottle, pop its top, and squirt some water into her mouth and spit it back out, thus getting the hot pasty bits that have frothed up from her damn near rabid rage perpetuated onto those hapless training dummies. She then looks over to 10 point, walks over to her, hands still slightly shaking. I'm gonna get a good workout in. I think that would be a good idea. It's been a while since you and I have thrown hands together, in a training sense.
It has, Raya. A very long time.
I think it would be good for us both. What do you think?
I think that is very wise, Raya.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And let's see, what dice roller is open.
The werewolf dice roller, in fact, is conveniently already set up.
Oh, would you look at that? Why don't we roll our
Madness.
initiative?
That seems like a good plan. Oh, it helps if I do it right.
Yeah, we all have those moments.
Yup.
Really? Fucking really? I hate Discord dice roller so much. It is the cruelest of mistresses. This is why it's a side chick, not the actual wife.
That's okay, don't worry, because she is not going first. She needs that defensive action, thank you very much.
Oh, good to know, because Dallas is now at 6 rage for entering into combat, and she is going to spend half of that.
That sounds fantastic.
And she will throw the first punch. She gets 3 successes. What is 10 point doing?
She is going to try to block.
She's learning.
Oh, yeah. Holy shit, she blocks it. She looks vaguely alarmed by her own success.
Dallas looks a little bit surprised. Perhaps not necessarily happy. And falls right into rage rounds. Is 10 points.
And oh yeah, I will spend my one whole rage. Yeah.
All right.
She will do it again. Or at least try. She said to throw hands. That means she gets to block. This time she deflects the better part of it, in theory. But it's still a hit. It's still solid enough to hurt. Let's see how much it hurts.
Probably not a lot. Ooh.
Oh, she takes 2 bashing. You've got 2 more, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Seems to be a trend today.
It does seem to be a trend. 3 is your lucky number. It's okay. 3 is a good number. It's a mystical number.
Magic number. 2 more bashing.
All right. That one she soaks.
A success.
It's enough.
That one doesn't do much.
But yeah, the first swing, she manages to block in entirety. The second comes faster, and she manages to glance it a little, but still is jostled pretty hard by it. The third, she gets a square hit, but 10 point proves solid enough to kind of go with the momentum on that one instead of taking damage. And the last is a graze. So in the wake of that flurry of blows, let's be honest, she'll even leak, and Dallas may or may not be amused by the fact that she can kind of feel things from her packmates at this point. There's just this brief kind of startled sensation that leaks through, as in, it's very clear that she is shocked that she is still upright. And, while the bruise is already fading, is kind of buckling into this, hiding behind her roused fists.
That was a neat trick. And it's your turn.
Don't worry, I'm saving that for defensive action. I'm spending a rage though.
Dallas will spend 2 more rage. Because she has to.
It merely means that you have taught me well, Ryah.
In the pack link between the two of them, there's just a really good, that was a good answer! 3 successes on the first punch.
Alright, first block. She blocks that one as well.
Rada. Comes the second one.
So close.
Four successes.
Oh boy. Yep, nope. Again, she manages to cut a little bit of the as it gets into rage and she's moving that much faster. Again, she kind of manages to glance some of the force, but isn't able to completely block the blow.
Can you soak one bashing?
I can sure try. Nope. I'm taking it. I'm back up to 2.
Dang, round 2.
And yeah, second rage action. Go.
Oh. Oh.
It's almost like she's agitated.
Yeah. Watch this be like 2 successes.
I was living in fear.
Fuck you, dice. Fuck you, Discord. And your stupid dice. Mock Dallas's get pride.
That fist comes around with such an incredible force that 10 Point could swear her life was flashing before her eyes. And whether it's just an overcalculation because of the rage or too much energy thrown into it, it just whisks past. It like clips her clothing, maybe just grazes the skin and keeps going. At which point, in the wake of this second flurry, 10 Point's eyes are respectably wide. There's a distinct feeling of, uh-oh.
You know what? I'm going to take a rage for that.
Do it.
She will spend 1 rage on this next attack. I'm guessing same verse, second verse, same as the first?
This time, 10 Point is going to do a dumb and daring thing. Because you know what? She needs to make sure Dallas gets all of it out of her system. All of it. So this time, you know, Dallas is probably winding up expecting more of the same, and 10 Point's going to slip in and try and clip her.
Ooh.
Hey, she said she wanted a fight, not a beating. Will she defend against it?
No.
Well, okay, that's 1 whole success. And punches, like, is there even a +1 for punches?
No.
Or is it just strength damage? Well,
strength.
I know it's real scary, but let me roll my 2 dice. Woohoo! Darn it! It's just that little, you know how like in all the animes, it's just that little jaw pop and the person, you know, it moves their head around a little bit, but doesn't seem to have any actual other effect when the person just twists their head back around and looks at you like you done fucked up. I feel like that's what happens. It's the little pop. Uh-oh.
There is an audible growl that comes from Dallas.
I will spend the rage, but I will not use it on this one.
She's clearly not that angry, despite growling.
You say that, but the opposite can happen to what just happened last time. I'm scared. I'm scared of all rolls now.
See? See?
Okay. Oh dear. I will make it worse.
I got one more. Or you got an action too. Yeah, you got rage. Yeah. Oh.
Entered combat and got hit.
Mm-hmm.
Just back down to one bashing. So Avada Kedavra. Oh, it's an I. That's
not
why.
a one.
That is not the one. Oh.
Oh boy.
Might actually make a boop. Oh, hole bashing.
Oh,
Yep,
you
I
hit
made
her.
a boop. I'll say that this time, the head just doesn't work out for her. She goes for body mass, and it's one of those things where you pop someone on, like, right on the breastbone, and it stings like a bitch. It's not actually any real significant damage, but gosh darn does it sting.
So over the pack link, you know that sensation you get if you open up an oven
Yep.
and you happen to be standing right in that sweet spot and it's right there all in your face and it gets real hot? That's the sensation that seems to be palpitating off of this Arun at the moment.
How lovely.
Here. Oh, we're back to regular actions.
Are we?
That was a rage action.
Oh, that's right. You only used one.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. She has committed the crime. It's time to commit to blocking again. Everything is awful.
4 successes.
Oh, Jesus. She blocks it.
All right, next round. Blocking again?
Sure.
4 successes.
Nope. That's all you, buddy.
It makes me worried.
Do it. It's bashing.
No, that's not what worries me. I worry Ice Stream is going to continue to mock the get pride that is going on. What do you know? It did. Too bashing.
Only one is soaked. She's got a bruise again.
Back to the top of the initiative. Is she going to stand there and take it again, or is she going to punch back?
She's not in this to win it, so she's just gonna keep blocking. Unless there is further agitation from her lack of aggression, she's just gonna kind of take as much of Dallas's knuckles as she can.
Or blocking?
What? She'll dodge this time for lulz. Gotta just kind of slip around it. far less success.
Three bashing.
None of it soaked.
So as Dallas sweeps in with that attempted dodge, comes over with a southpaw and happens to catch 10 point well enough to maybe bloody your nose a bit.
Oh, absolutely. If you want to go for the head, then yeah, I'd say she manages to crack up, and let's face it, while this probably wasn't enough to break a rib, it's definitely enough to crack her nose real good and send blood kind of fountaining out down over her lips and over her chin. Very satisfying thud and crack. And a yelp of pain, because your nose breaking just hurts no matter how many times you've had to deal with it.
Is there a headbutt maneuver?
There is. It is a dirty fighting maneuver, but I imagine that you have enough brawl to do it. It is higher difficulty. Let me pull it up real fast. A headbutt is... It's Dex Brawl Diff 6. And it is Strength +1 bashing.
Nice. Anything special, like if I hit you too hard, I have to soak?
Oh, no. No, you just get +1 damage. It hits harder.
Defensive measures being taken?
At this point, I'll say no.
All right, then. 2 successes.
All right, roll it.
6 bashing. Three more.
I have to keep track. It was 3, so now it's 2, and then none of that soaks, so up to 5.
See, I kind of imagine that Dallas smashes her forehead into the bloody spot.
Oh, yeah. And in fact, like, mechanics aside, the headbutt will be pretty damn brutal, especially in the wake of the previous shot. And 10 point won't, like, necessarily go down just yet. But she kind of does that sway, like that desperate shift of feet to keep her balance as she kind of gets knocked straight akimbo for a minute.
Mm-hmm. God. And Dallas is just going to keep pouring it on.
Like you do.
4 successes. Part of me that's going
She'll
to hell for this.
She'll make an attempt, because that's what, 0, 1, 1, 2. So it's -2 dice. But yeah, she'll make some weak attempt at blocking. Completely unsuccessful. The arms come up, but they come up late. Like, they come up behind the fist.
Actually, she was throwing her head down at you.
Oh dear. Well, it probably translates, instead of a block, to more of like the palms coming up onto your shoulders, like, oh Jesus, like she's gonna shove.
No, God, please no. 3 more bashing. Seems to be all I can muster.
And she soaks 1. She's 4, 5, 6. So yeah, with the second landing of a headbutt, she actually, her head cracks back and she teeters for a second and actually falls back. Not gracefully. Thankfully, not straight on the back of her skull. She lands on her ass first, but even when she's hit the ground, there's kind of a reeling and a flail of arms as she tries to find her balance again, with a hand coming up. over her face, not in a defensive fashion, but kind of in shock, feeling at her nose, resting over it.
And I'm sorry, Katie.
Do it.
Dallas is going to go for the ground and pound.
Don't forget the -2 diff for being pro.
Have you ever seen Gangs of New York?
No.
It's a lovely scene that I'll have to show you. Where Bill the Butcher climbs on top of Leonardo DiCaprio and headbutts him while he's laying on his back.
I have seen such brutal things.
Oh, God!
Oh, God. Hold on, let me remath. To make sure you don't accidentally, like, roll over and kill me.
Because that is going to be your strength +7.
I'm debating whether I should use a defensive just to make sure it doesn't roll over into too much lethal.
I mean, you gotta do.
I'll go for another really weak block because fuck it, anything's better than nothing at this point. Let's see if I can strip some of your successes.
Spend a point of willpower, you know.
On a combat maneuver?
Oh, well, no, to avoid wound penalties.
Oh, that's true.
And considering, like, Dallas has just mounted you. And...
Yeah, I'll blow it because she's on just teetering and she's coming full tilt. So yeah, I'll blow it just so not dying is good. It's real good. I'll knock 3 of those off.
Cool.
So yeah, she this time at least seems to understand what's happening and kind of casts up an arm. And it's not enough of a barrier to actually hold Dallas back coming full tilt. But it cuts some of her momentum as she descends with the fucking headbutt. Oops, sorry, I rolled early.
Doesn't
but that's okay. Yeah,
4.
It still goes from 6. And yeah, she is dunk out cold, bleeding profusely from the nose. Probably got some nasty bruises, swelling up, albeit we know they won't get to even full color and size before they start knitting. But she looks pretty nasty, if only because you've rolled over into 3 points of lethal there, buddy.
Yeah. And Dallas will just kind of roll over onto her side, just panting, having spent all of her rage. Sweaty, blood, or face covered in blood. Not her blood. But yeah, she just lays there, and that's what 10 Point will wake up to at some point. Is Dallas laying there panting next to what I'm assuming is a Krynos Garu.
Oh, that's yeah. Considering that she's knocked completely off her rocker, yeah, she will revert. Comically, she's not down long because she knits quickly, even in breed. But the indicator that she is in fact alive will be kind of this shrill, comically nasal whine because her sinuses be all fucked up right now.
The snoot has been collapsed.
Her snoot is in bad shape. It's a little crooked right meow. Okay, it's really fucked up. So yeah, there will be this really shrill nasal whine that halfway through kind of morphs itself to a vocal whine as she opens her mouth because the reverberations actually make it hurt more.
Mm-hmm.
And she picks up just a giant paw and reaches up to her mangled face. And as things are starting to knit and work themselves back together, waits with kind of an eerily practiced timing, and at a particular point shoots out a shrill yelp as she pops her nose back into place. so that it can finish knitting properly aligned. But yeah, she's going to be laying there for a hot minute. She's got more than the usual battering about to heal off.
Well, she will hear next to her that sound of somebody when they're breathing hard enough, it hurts their lungs or makes their lungs burn. And there's just that redhead is significantly smaller than she is right now.
Yep. And as her features are still knitting, still mending, still nastily purpled and matted with blood, she'll cast a side glance, a cautious side glance, and then as soon as she's not, cross-eyed, will begin to heave herself up, kind of rocking up to amble on all fours, back to where she saw Dallas stick her water bottle, which she will faithfully retrieve and come back with and gingerly place right there in front of her before flumping back down into the dirt and bracing her muzzle chin down on the earth to just kind of wait for it to knit back together.
And Dallas will grab a hold of the water bottle and she'll just kind of spray her face and give it a once over with the hand, which probably does a little more than just spread the blood. Maybe make it more of a pink than a full-on red or dark red, because when you bleed out of the nose, it's always dark. And yeah, she sits up. So I've got that pant going. And she'll lean against the stump of a training post and just watch 10 Point for a moment with one eye, while the other one's just stung shut by sweat that's gotten into there. Imagine Dallas looks fairly frightful at the moment. Covered in blood and sweat and just whatever else.
That would probably be why 10 Point is not at any point even turning her head directly towards her. She keeps her chin braced on the ground, and it'll be a good bit before the bleeding finally stops leaking out of her muzzle. And in this form especially, and considering the extent of the damage, there's probably some of it like mixed in her spittle. Though when it finally stops flowing, she shifts a bit and actually turns herself about so that Dallas will not be subject to the consequences of it. And if you've ever seen a dog sneeze with that ridiculous head shake, yeah, she kind of turns her head away, indulges in a canine sneeze of sorts to clear her nose, which means clods of blood will rocket out and hit the dust.
Mm-hmm.
And then just kind of lays herself back down and closes her eyes, waiting for the rest of the bruising to fade.
I feel a bit better now.
Was it enough, Ryah? Or shall we go again?
I'm spent and I'm not going to waste my opportunity to regain my Gaia's fury back into me on something that's, let's face it, recreational.
And her muzzle opens briefly. She kind of flicks her tongue over her teeth, collecting the blood off of them.
Dallas will grab her, one of her blue scarf and kind of dab away at the At that bloody mess all over her face. Stargazer has made me quite angry.
And what has he done, Ryah?
Nothing that's really of any merit. Just put his nose somewhere that mine was already at.
And there will be that kind of inquisitive side eye. And a gauging kind of gaze into the pack link in the case that Dallas is unpracticed enough to be leaking. Hopefully not. Hopefully she's getting the hang of it. But if she throws it out there, 10 Point can't be held responsible for noticing.
Dallas doesn't need to leak on the into the pack link. She just kind of gives 10 Point this poignant look that probably says a lot more than anything could outside of an actual just coming out and saying that he's barking up the tree that I'm trying to climb.
Yeah, she'll get the gist.
Hmm. She'll stand up and she'll toss 10 Point the water bottle as she wrings out her scarf.
Is it in an offering fashion or a hey, put this back fashion?
She didn't really throw it with any kind of intent in that way. There's about a third of the water bottle left. So if she felt like she wanted a drink, she could get one.
Yep. And while she has an eerie finesse with some things, this is not especially one of them. Tiny water bottle twisty caps are really obnoxious when you have giant paws. So she'll probably, if anything, just kind of pierce the cap with a claw. And that way we'll be able to kind of tilt it back and squeeze to shoot a jet into her maw.
Gets a raised eyebrow from Dallas and a more lighthearted chuckle.
It's kind of a helpless shrug at the funny look. And the rest of it is sprayed over her face as well, as there is some measure of blood in her fur. Before she again turns her head aside and indulges in that kind of canine sneezing motion to clear out her nasal passages the rest of the way. So water sprays everywhere, blood sprays out of her muzzle. All in all, it's just kind of a comically messy process. But the last of the bruises are fading. Until there is little to no sign of what just took place. Ryah, if I may be so bold, do not allow the floundering of another in the wake of your finesse to agitate you so. Not enough that you question your pack mates.
Dallas will simply nod. I'll probably have to talk to Aiden at some point.
It would not go amiss, right? I'm sure he would appreciate the gesture.
How does one communicate directly with someone else over this?
It is a matter of focus, Ryah. You have understood how to think into the open. If it helps, you may practice with me. Early on, things like eye contact can help, or looking at the person can help focus where you intend to send it. But think of it as if he is here and you are speaking directly to him. Focus as you would if you were looking him in the face and speaking to him directly. It guides your thoughts in the right direction.
I'll give that a shot then. Is 10 Point in full horniness?
Oh yeah, her antlers are at full size.
I'm going to have one of my kinfolk bring something.
There's a faint tilt of head.
Have you ever had a malt before?
A malt?
I'll take that as a no.
That is a safe assumption. I had thought for a moment that you simply said malt wrong. She reaches up and kind of taps a claw very lightly, like kind of the little tick, tick, tick against one of the antlers. As she does, in fact, shed them annually, presuming she hasn't hacked them off, 80 times in between. She still sheds them naturally.
Dallas just kind of reaches up and grabs a hold of the front two points and kind of gives them a sturdy jostle.
No, they're decidedly attached to her skull.
Yeah. She just kind of gives, it's not enough to like jerk her head in any direction, but it's just a jostle.
Yep.
If not for these, I would take you out to get them myself, because right now I can probably walk among the humans and they not all run in terror. But that is what kinfolk do. It is their sworn duty to us. I shall take advantage when I need to.
Should you at any point truly wish to have me leave the veiled areas, Ryah, I have taken to carrying this all on my person. But I do prefer not to take them off, unless it is necessary.
This would be an unnecessary measure.
And as she gives this serene nod in response, it's accompanied by kind of this odd flush of appreciation that, again, just kind of bubbles up as an understanding. But it's a very earnest, just kind of glimpse into the accompanying emotion.
Dallas will, for the most part, just leave it at that and begin to make her way towards the direction of the cabin, and simply says, "I'll meet you over there."
And considering that she knows damn well that Dallas is perfectly capable of carrying her own things, and if she'd wanted help, she would have fucking told her to take them. She will, again, bob her head faintly in understanding, and will, just kind of amble that way. And again, depending on how we've decided the veiled areas are situated, there will be probably a brief stint in the Umbra along the way. But sooner or later, the two of them will end up back at the cabin. 10 Point will, most likely actually be settled in the grass alongside the porch. Not even like directly alongside the steps, but leaning against one of the supports for the porch itself and running a hand thoughtfully through the grass there.
I didn't catch that last part.
Oh, she's just kind of thoughtfully running a paw. You know how like people walk through a field and they stretch their hands out and run it through the grass?
Mm-hmm.
Admittedly, the proportions are completely fucked because this is, even if it's tall for, normal green grass, it's only so tall and her paws are massive. But she's just kind of thoughtfully looking down at the grass and grazing a paw over it. Not even using enough pressure to like bruise or bend the stems, really. Just thinking.
Dallas has the bag shouldered at this point and is about to duck out, and she'll look back at 10 Point. Quizzical look.
Oh, this will be when they're when she gets back to the cabin, as I assume she's taking a minute to grab all her things and whatnot.
Okay. Then yeah. When
So
she
presuming
gets...
that 10 Point beats her there, that is what she will be doing when Dallas is approaching.
All right. Then Dallas will, upon getting back to the cabin, will set her things down and look at a man who approaches with 3 cups. He takes 1 and she takes 2.
And as he's walking along towards the front of the porch, I imagine 10 Point will actually shrink back a bit to give him room. Because particularly in Krynos, she doesn't want to be obtrusive.
Yeah. I'm imagining Owen will pay her little to no mind and will, once he's handed them over, walk away just as plainly as he walked up.
Makes a certain amount of sense. And yeah, she'll let him pass. I mean, she recognizes Owen. And it occurs to her as he passes that he's seen crazier shit. But all the same, she lets him go ahead and get, past in a certain distance away before she goes ahead and rouses up and comes around. Because at this point, she's curious.
About?
She has no idea what the fuck a malt is. But it looks like it comes in a cup.
Comes in a cup with a clear top that has a massive amount of whipped cream and a cherry on the top.
Whipped cream and a cherry on top are always a sign of good things.
Dallas will sit on the edge of the port and set one down in front of 10 Point.
10 Point resolves that while she could pull this off in Krynos, it's hardly the most gracious way to do so. So she will, as she is easing over a bit closer, trying not to look too eager and too curious, but, the ears have tipped forward. She's very blatantly both. She'll slowly shrink her way back down. And find herself a seat on one of the lower steps.
Dallas will stick the wide straw into the malt and take a sip out of it.
And presuming that she gets no side-eye, 10 Point will inquisitively investigate this drink here that has been set out for her, and will mimic, because, I mean, if someone else knows what they're doing, then yeah, she will go for a straw, plop it in there, and take up the cup, and sample the contents, and probably be a bit startled, but immensely pleased with the results. There's definitely the all but audible, just kind of ooh. It's in the posture, it's in the expression. She just doesn't quite make the noise.
And Dallas will sit there, and she's more experienced with the malts, and she takes to turning to one side to watch 10 Point as she takes the cherry and plucks it from the stem and enjoys the overly sugarified fruit bit.
Admittedly, 10 Point's enthusiasm is real. And inevitably, in what might be a record time, the blatant signs of brain freeze manifest. Because she looks so happy and then fleetingly confused and then betrayed.
Oh, this treacherous treat.
And she will actually, after I will do that very quickly. Yeah, because she doesn't generally but the shock, it's terrible.
Why, beautiful drink, why have you done this to me?
Pretty much. There we go. It has been shared. The world, aka the pack. Yeah, 10 Point goes through this sudden blend of emotions. She was so happy, and then slightly confused, and then uncomfortable, and finally just betrayed. Betrayed by delicious treats. Why must they hurt her so? And yeah, she proceeds to go through the comical struggle of someone who has no idea what brain freeze is or why it hurts, but oh god, it hurts. And she finally kind of almost brusquely sets the drink down and gapes her mouth open, trying to figure out what the hell to do to make it stop. She swallows first, mind you, so it's, she's not like drooling malt everywhere, but she can't waste it. It's too delicious.
Dallas will just kind of reach over and pinch the bridge of 10 Point's nose and give it a little bit of a squeeze, as that is the only standard for curing a brain freeze.
I've heard that pressing your tongue or your thumbs to the roof of your mouth helps too, but yeah, she doesn't know any of these tricks. None of them. So she seems puzzled all over again and is kind of looking over like, what are you doing? And then the brain freeze starts to abate and she decides, nope, this is fine. And just kind of sits there like,
I had no clue Dallas was a healer.
Almost nudged into like the pinch on the bridge of her nose because fuck it, it's working. And finally just kind of sighs this immense relief. Just kind of finally just leans back a bit because this has been an emotional roller coaster. He glances over at Dallas. What was that? Why did it hurt?
Well, you drank it far too quickly. Drink anything cold, and this is what it will do. Should you drink it far too quickly.
She kind of rubs the top of her nose a little bit, as if to reassure herself that all is well, somehow. Because, I mean, pinching the bridge of the nose worked. And she sighs and looks at the cup again.
Well, I'm not sure of the exact reason it happened. Someone once told me it's because your optic nerves are freezing or something like that.
Something was freezing. That hurt. So betrayed.
Dallas just kind of looks at her. You've had a Krynos punch you in your kidney. And you just had your nose broken in several places. You've taken claws before. And that's what you say hurts?
And she kind of adopts that kind of guilty face. Yeah, her eyes kind of drop to her hands, which are in her lap for the moment because the drink has betrayed her. It's in timeout right now. And after a little bit of floundering, she just responds with, but I haven't felt that one before.
Fair enough. Dallas will pick her drink back up and sip out of it, just waiting to see if the temptation is too great.
And yeah, after again raising a hand to idly rub at the bridge of her nose, which is probably the funniest fucking gesture in the world, she casts a side glance at the cup and finally takes it back up again, mindful of the fact that apparently too fast is a thing. There is a too fast. So this time she is much more reserved about drinking it. But it's so good. But she has to drink it so slow. Why, Gaia, why?
This needs to be in my belly now.
Yeah, pretty much. But in the end, she's rendered content. Though she seems to realize belatedly that this has put all the whipped cream on the bottom of the cup. Damn.
So I take it your first malt experience was exactly... Well, I wouldn't say perfect, but it was an experience.
There's a slow nod, because by the time she's finished, it's been a hot minute. It was quite the experience, Ryah, but it is one that I think I could tolerate more than once.
Dallas just shakes her head. I'm going to go take a shower. And Dallas will stand up, grab her bag, slurp out of the cup until it makes that annoying sound. And she'll actually use her teeth to hold the straw as she moves it in every direction to get all of the whipped cream into her mouth.
Oh, the most obnoxious slurping noises. Because trying to get up whipped cream with the straw is just the most inefficient way to eat whipped cream of all time. Making it a prolonged and loud process.
This is Dallas we're talking about here.
It is indeed. It is indeed. Template will politely wait out this process and at least make an attempt to seem civil. Though, let's face it, as soon as Dallas has passed that doorway, she's going to go through the equally disgraceful process of like popping the lid off and using the straw and trying to coax/shovel the whipped cream out of the cup into her mouth, which involves a lot of tipping it practically upside down, propped into her face. Because whipped cream is just so fucking good. Why is it so good? But yes, inevitably the two have shown their respective forms of disgrace. Parted ways. And, well, 10 point goes to tending to this and that, and Dallas heads in for a shower. I suppose that is as good a place as any to call it. So, thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And we'll see you next time on the Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York.